All right, we made it. Well done. You know, that was give or take about an eighth of the Gospel of Mark. So, nice job. And thank you for not spitting on me at the appropriate time in the story. I'm not worried about anyone here. There were a few kids at 4:30 I was a little worried about. So, some of what we heard today ought to sound pretty familiar, because some of what we just heard is exactly what we use in the liturgy of the Eucharist, the Eucharistic prayers. Jesus took bread, said the blessing, broke it, and gave it to them, his disciples. All right, that's not a coincidence, because this whole reading, this Palm Sunday reading, is all about Eucharist. And I mean the whole thing, not just the paragraph in the middle about the Last Supper. The very beginning about the Jews beginning the Passover celebration. That's about Eucharist. And the end, where Jesus is laid in the tomb and the two Marys go to witness, that's about Eucharist as well. We remember this entire narrative whenever we come together at the altar. Even if we don't take communion, we nevertheless recall this entire portion of sacred Scripture. And that's because Eucharist is our remembrance, our participation, and our celebration of Christ's Easter mystery. And that Easter mystery involves the whole thing, from beginning to end. Even if we tend to give a lot of attention to the Last Supper. Now, I realize I don't have much time for a homily today, but there is one more idea I want to get in your heads for today. All over this narrative, we are constantly hearing about people who are right on the verge of being surprised. When the woman in Bethany anoints Jesus near the beginning of the reading, Jesus says to everyone else, her actions are going to be remembered for all time. In the middle of the reading, Jesus says to all of his disciples, all of you are going to have your faith shaken. Even you, Peter. And then near the end, he says to the high priest, to his face, you are going to see the Son of Man seated at the right hand of power. Over and over again, we're basically hearing Jesus say, just you wait and see. I know something that you can't understand yet. And that is why we need to remember the whole thing. We can't understand everything we need to know unless we take the whole story as one, from beginning to end. On that note, I think we did pretty good today. I think we're all set for Holy Week and Easter Sunday, because today we have relived Christ's final days through the Word, and soon we were going to experience that in the sacrament at the altar. Eucharist, God's very presence from beginning to end.